Hey, my name is Tyrone, and I'd like to share a couple of dreams I've had. So I'm going to start off with praying. Dear Heavenly Father, please bless this video under your Son's name, Jesus Jeshua HaMashiach. And please don't allow any words that aren't from you to come out of my mouth. And please bring to remembrance anything that's important related to these dreams. Under your Son's precious blood, I pray. Amen. All right. I had a couple of dreams, and I didn't think they had much value until I noticed this trend. So I'm just gonna read from what I wrote. I tend to write them down just in case. So this dream happened on the 30th of September. I wrote, I was with friends getting off of a trolley. I walked a minute or so to the next stop. I was waiting for the buses, but it was a combination of the train station had trains, buses, and so forth. As I was walking to the next stop, I saw two young men. One of them I recognized. I said hi, and we exchanged glances, greetings. But he gave me a number. I think I asked him for directions about something, and he gave me a bus number that was pretty long. So I was literally standing within a whole group of people. And as we were moving forward, I saw this guy and I shouted out his name. He turned around and he was with his friend. And, he said, "Hey, what's up?" But for some reason, he said a bunch of numbers. I don't know if it was his phone number so I can get back in touch with him, or it had something, but I can't remember. It was like a bunch of numbers, like at least 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. Then, as I'm standing there, I started to walk forward, and some tall hood guy, a tall guy with a black hood on, touched me from behind. I turned around and ignored him because I said to myself, I don't know him, nobody knows me. But then I was waiting on the bus. I looked at the map and saw that I haven't traveled far at all from my original destination. I could walk less than 10 minutes and get back to where I started. I was starting to think I could double back and go the way I know by heart. But I was with my friends and my coworkers, and I wanted to wait with them out of respect and camaraderie. I saw a bus on my right, but it was turning into the station. Then the dark green trolley was on my left pulling in. I didn't hear it, so I didn't expect to see it when I turned around, but it was at the far right side of the waiting area. I thought the trolley would stay where it was, and we would have had to have walked over there. But already people were starting to build up at the entrance to get into the trolley. But then the trolley lurched forward to extend its full length and to park correctly. It practically stopped right in front of me. But other people reacted faster, and 2 or 3 people got in front of me. When the trolley here in Massachusetts pulls into the station, or when it pulls, my dog. When the trolley pulls into the station, it tends to lurch forward 5 or 6 feet until it reaches the stop sign. If you ever been underground on the trolleys, you know what I'm talking about. So sometimes I noticed that people would stand there, but the trolley will lurch forward so that those people don't even get in the train. They think they're gonna get in like right away. This is what happened to me. So when the trolley lurched forward about 5 feet, I got on. I was extremely surprised because it was packed. That the whole entire train station area was packed. So I managed to be one of the first people to get on this trolley. As I boarded, there were doors on both sides of the train. They both opened and a few people rushed in and crowded close to the middle, higher end to get the best spot. I stood with them but pulled away to stand alone close by them. Turning to look at them and the entrance, I noticed the trolley inside was built narrow, with steps leading to the side I stood on heading down. The configuration made no sense, but I noticed no one else was crossing to enter in. I was waiting to be pressed against by someone, but the doors to the trolley were closed and many people were outside waiting to get in. I knew my friend Nikki was on the outside waiting to board, and I stressed slightly, wondering if she'll have to catch the next train.
but very few people managed to enter, but the trolley yet to pull out of the station. We were going home and we were all tired. I felt bad if no one else manages to get on, but I know in real life and I knew in my dream whenever the trolley does this move, they are planning on taking off with very few people to pick up the with very few people so that the next train can pick up the load of people behind. Here in Massachusetts, when we have like rush hour traffic, the trolley would go into the station and pick up a few people and then close the doors and then take off. And there would be a trolley literally right behind it and it would do almost the same thing. But the reason why the trolley do this is not because that stop is full of people, it's because every single stop is full of people. So when the trolley leaves the first station, it has very minimal people, and they do this on purpose so that when they get to the next stop they can pick up that big load of people so that the pressure can be relieved from the station. It's a normal practice. So when I was on this trolley, I knew it was going to take off. So when I entered, it was only like 5 or 4 of us, and then the trolley door closed and everybody was outside trying to get in, but they were just like, oh, like, oh, the door closed. So the trolley just basically stood there for a little bit, and I knew because I've already processed this in reality. This is something that actually happened. My friends couldn't go with me. I had to wait for them. I had to wait for them at the next stop or just go home, but I never saw the train leave. So in my dream, the train was getting ready to go. Okay, the trolley was getting ready to go with only like 4 or 5 people, and there was enough space for like at least 60, 70 people. This is my next dream, October 1st. Dream starts with me and a group of young people entering inside of a house. We were there to take a break before moving forward on our journey. I noticed I was taking stuff but Pacific stuff. These small, tiny boxes, these small little white boxes, I mean, they were tiny, like this small, but they were cubes, little white boxes. These small, tiny boxes that could fit in my hand. I was putting them into one of the sleeves of my jacket. There's a stain where you can close your sleeve and withdraw your arm and just shove things inside, and it would be like a natural pocket. That's what I was doing. I was stuffing things into my coat to take with me. And it was these small little tiny white boxes. But the object, it might be some kind of toy or accessory for one. But then I noticed some CDs. They were Nintendo Switch games, but usually they came in cartridges. I remember one of the games being a Sonic and Hedgehog game I've never seen before. I took them. By the way, that game comes out November 15th. That Sonic and Hedgehog game I've never seen ever in my life that I looked up the same day. That video game comes out November 15th. And it's not November yet. I mean, we're in November, but this happened on October 1st. And I did not know about that video game. Okay. We're in the kitchen and I took the Nintendo game. Then there was a little boy up above the kitchen on a landing, a railing. We got paranoid and didn't expect anyone to be home, so we rapidly told each other and we were leaving before anyone else caught us in the house. Then the front door opened and there was about 6 to 7 women walking into the house. We panicked and scrambled, but I confronted the lady that was walking in first. I already placed down the stuff I was carrying down, figuring it would be missed by the owner. I tell her the child opened the door and let us in. We were going to be in and out, that we didn't think anyone else was here. But it seemed to not bother the lady in the slightest, like she just did not care. I don't think she owns the house either. Parentheses. Now that I think about it, I think the boy was with us and he was a lookout. Now, in this dream, I broke into somebody's house. I was with a group of people and we were stealing stuff. But I don't think anybody owned any of these things because whoever owned or lived in this house was no longer home or everybody vacated the city. I have no idea what was going on. But as I proceeded to take things, there was a little boy standing on top of the landing and he was looking down at us. And that kind of freaked me out. I don't know why. I felt like, oh, we need to hurry up. But now that I think about it, I think that little boy was with us, with our group, a group of complete strangers that just happened to find each other and hang out and continue their journey. But this little boy was with us. So I think he was telling us that these people were coming to the house, these women. Now, I'm going to tell you something. There were a bunch of like 5 or 6 white women, okay? And I'm going to tell you who they are. I had no idea who they are, and I'm super excited about this because I spend a lot of time on YouTube listening to prophetic dreams and news related to the end times. So there are specific people I like to listen to because I felt like they're spirit-led people, you know? So they are the women in my dream. These women that were in my dream are the same women that I like to listen to. Vicky, let's not get into names, but amazing. So they were literally in my dream. So I'm not really sure what those little white boxes were that I was taking, but they were essential. I don't know why. They were extremely essential because I didn't take anything but those little white boxes, and then I took the Sonic the Hedgehog video game. But when those ladies had appeared, I put everything back because I thought they owned the house, see? And I didn't... That's my cat. And I didn't want to get caught. So here's the next dream. This is the same day. My mom was sleeping on the couch. She was waiting on her sister and friend to stop by. I was in the house cleaning or something vague, but I was pacing. My aunt and mom's friend came in through the front door. They went to a shopping area and to look at clothes. I high-fived my mom's friend because we both agreed that clothing was getting way too expensive. All they could really do was look at the clothes because of how expensive they were. More people poured into the apartment. I think 2 of my female cousins. By then I noticed I lived in an apartment, maybe on the 3rd or 2nd floor. I had a feeling I was near the ocean like I am in real life. I remember being on the phone because it rang, talked to someone close, a family member. They said something big happened in Japan. Did you hear it? I think they meant the news. I think something bad was happening around the world or was going to because the feeling was in the air. I said no. I was gonna check for the information about Japan, but then there was some kind of loud noise, like a metal tearing quickly or ice breaking, but with fury. Everyone in the house panicked. I think the house shook for a few times. I also think something breached Earth airspace as well. I barely remember, but I think there was a red color. It was floating in the clouds, but it was just the beginning of whatever was happening. In this dream, my mom in real life, she had a stroke. So she's a little bit disabled. But in my dream, she was waiting for my aunt to get home because they were all hanging out. And this was like, one of those visits where they, get together. So my mom ended up falling asleep on the couch because she was just waiting. And, she got bored and tired. So she fell asleep. But as the dream progressed and everybody gets to the apartment, I'm on the phone and this person says something about Japan, and then all of a sudden, the noise and everything. But I'm going to tell you something. When that had happened, there was an orange reddish kind of glow in the sky. And I could see it reflecting through the windows. As the sunlight comes into the house, you see it reflect and bounce off the wall. This is the way I saw the light. And it was specifically Japan. Now, here's the funny thing. The reason why I didn't bring this video to fruition, out into reality was because I thought, hey, it was just a dream, But the next day, the same day I woke up, Japan, North Korea had sent a missile over Japan. And I thought, oh my God, this is it, So I didn't bother posting this video because I thought maybe it was just a personal thing for me. But as we can see, nothing's happened, right? But on that telephone, specifically, the caller said, did you see what happened to Japan? So whenever in my dream, Japan was a marker. Whenever something bad happens to Japan, I guess something bad's going to happen here. Those dreams were pretty interesting, but the reason why I'm making this video is because of the dream I had this morning. Now, this is another dream. This I had like 2 or 3 days ago. I went to a retreat, a vacation. The building was a circular shape, all glass but covered in bamboo matting to reduce visibility. There is a geodesic building that's perfectly circular that sometimes people use to look out into the ocean or the view, for relaxation. I was with my mother and my stepfather, and we went on vacation, and the building that we were staying in was this circular shaped house, but there were windows like everywhere. Every single corner had a window, and then there were these bamboo mattings to reduce, they were like curtains, but they weren't, because you can literally remove them, but they were there for us, but they were curtains basically. When I was there, I went outside and I saw kids, people my age, hanging out, kind of like a party. There was a meteor shower. I was sitting in front of the geodesic building. I turned and knocked on the door to let my brothers see that there was a comet thing going on. They opened and watched from the inside of the house, that geodesic house. The lights in the sky looked like they were fighting each other, possibly playing with each other. We sat there watching. Have you ever seen bugs on top of water? You know the way that they move? Now imagine that, but transform the bugs into light. They were like bugs on top of water, but then put water on top of that. So basically they were submerged bugs in water. But now I'm not saying they were bugs. They moved like bugs on water. What they were little lights in the sky, like the stars. But the way that they were moving, it looked like there was an interaction going on with all of them. Like they were literally fighting each other. Like one would zoom in, the other one would zoom out and zoom in and zoom out. But they looked like they were battling, like their little personal battles going on in the space. Very weird, but very cool. And now this is a dream I had today. This is the dream that woke me up. This is the dream that prompted me to make this video. So I'm going to make a big emphasis on this, okay? Me and my mom were going to Honduras. That's where I'm from. She planned the trip behind my back and told me at the last minute that it was a surprise. I just got home or was walking home. My mom told me we had to go to get on a plane and it was leaving in an hour. I was at my friend's house and they were shoveling. One of his brothers was outside shoveling the backyard, and one of them was inside hanging out trying to get warm. So it was winter. It was snow, okay? I was telling my mom and stepdad, and they said nice things about my old friends. The funny thing is, I felt like I just came from somewhere, like a small vacation, or they just got back from a small vacation. But the urgency to pack was felt. My mom told me that she made a surprise. So I guess she and I were going to Honduras. And she didn't tell me like a week in advance. She literally told me like an hour before we had to board the plane. So it's like when you go to the airport, you give yourself like 3 hours or something. You don't just in 1 hour, and that's the hour you're supposed to be on the plane, like in 1 hour, Very weird. So I was rushing to pack. I was in my room grabbing stuff to pack to take. I was living in an apartment building in the midst of others. I had like 5 minutes to hurry up and get out. I grabbed a small bag, my Adidas bag. I put my favorite shoes, my favorite tees, my favorite pants, but they were only a minimal, like three for each. Like 2 pairs of shoes, 3 pairs of shoes, 3 pairs of pants, 2 pairs of pants. Like it was just 2 or 3. It was very minimal because when I was done packing, the bag wasn't even like 1/3 of the way full. It was barely 1/3 of the way full. So I was in my room grabbing stuff to pack to take. I asked my stepdad if I could take his joint that was in his ashtray, and I did. And he kept saying to me, hurry up, hurry up. And I grabbed my phone charger, and I grabbed my Bluetooth headphones. Me and my mom, we left the house, and we crossed the street, and we got into this big white van. And then she started telling me stuff. Like she was talking while she was starting the engine. And then she warned me. She said that the truck is gonna act funny real quick. So the truck, when she started the engine, the truck jump forward like a few spaces. And I think it was like an automatic thing that this van does. It was a white van. I'm sorry. It was a white van. And it has one of those the back seats have like 3 or 4 rows. But when she started it, it like lurched forward. And she warned me before it happened. And when it did that, we kind of jumped onto the sidewalk, but she was already expecting it, so we didn't hit anything, and we kind of like made a U-turn and got out of there. But we were going to the airport. Now, this happened today, so I don't need to keep reading this. But my mom is not like that. I have a good relationship with my mother, but she's not that nurturing type of lady, you know? Like how you would see a grandparent, you would think, oh, they make cookies, they take care of the grandchildren, they'll babysit for you. My mom's not like that. She's never been like that. Very independent, very closed-minded, etc. So in these two dreams where I had a vacation with my mom and my stepdad, that's not normal. That's not even something I would make up. Like that's so far beyond anything I could think of, because I would never choose them. Not because I don't love them, because it's just not how I would go. So I think that's extremely significant. Now, there are a lot of trials and tribulations going on right now, and I know it's hard for a lot of people, but I have a strong feeling. No. I educated myself. You know, the signs are there. I don't have to go over it with you, because chances are, if you're watching this video, you've been looking. And I'm gonna tell you, and I've been telling people, and I will tell anyone, Jesus is coming. He is on the way. No, Jesus is here. He's been here. He's been here for a very long time, but he is making the final arrangements to do whatever he's doing. And I'm telling everybody, especially people on YouTube, he's coming. He's actually here. He hasn't announced himself yet. He's going to. I know he is, and I know a lot of people know that he is here. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it. I'm not sure the significance of everything that I said, but maybe there's something that you might know. And even if not, let's just look forward to, the day of his arrival. God bless you. May the Lord take care of you, and may you take care of others. Amen.